Okay, next let's look at gate. Gate kind of looks like a compressor and it acts like a compressor, but it has very different results. So I'm going to turn off this compressor so that we hear the original again. So what a gate does is you set a threshold. So the threshold is at what point does the gate kick on. And then if the sound, the volume of the sound is above that threshold, you hear it unaltered. If it's below that threshold, you don't. The gate is a very brute force effect that basically says, is this signal on or off, right? So here's a low threshold, right? So we're going to hear all the sound. Let's move my threshold up to only get those high things. Okay, now most of our clicky sounds are too quiet to meet the threshold, so they're just off. Okay, so we effectively just took the hi-hats out of our drum beat using this method. That's kind of cool. Other things in a gate are the return. The return is this lower line. You can set that to be different than the threshold. So you have two lines, the threshold and the return. So the sound goes up above the threshold and we play it. It stays up there, it keeps playing. It drops below the threshold, it can keep playing, but if it drops below the return, it stops. Right? So that gives us a little bit of flexibility on the way down. We can also flip it. Look ahead makes it work a little bit faster. And then we can adjust the speed that it kicks on. Now you might think that gate is a really good way to do noise reduction. If you have some noise in your signal, it's actually not. A lot of people try to use gate for noise reduction, and it's not a very effective use of a gate, because what that's going to do is, if I'm talking and I've got a bunch of noise underneath me, all it's going to do is all that noise is going to be there while I'm talking, and then when I'm not talking, there's going to be no sound. So it doesn't do anything to reduce the noise while I'm talking, right? Because the gate is open and you can hear it because the volume is past the threshold. So there are some cases where it can be used for noise reduction. You can also sidechain to it, which can be actually kind of fun to make rhythmic effects. So it's not really a compressor, but it behaves kind of similarly to a compressor, but does not do any actual compression.